Hey there, everybody. Elagatua here. I just finished a Hero Academy League game against Matrix26, and I've been putting together a bunch of commentary videos on all the turns that I've made, as I've made them, complete with my thoughts about the moves I'm making, and where the game is, and what I think he's thinking, everything you could possibly want to know about my thoughts as I play this game. There's a lot of videos. I think I ramble on for about 10 minutes on just about every single turn, so I'm going to be putting these out about one per day for the next few weeks or so. So enjoy. Hope you learned something from from me being on tilt and the swings of the game. And if nothing else, I hope that you enjoy watching me suffer more than I enjoyed the suffering and tribulations of a league match against one of the best players in the world.
Alright, here we are in game, and let's take a look at this board. First, let's look at my positioning here. I've got a soldier with a sandwich that is down here, and I have a grenadier up here, as well as a bunch of other units elsewhere. And my game plan going into this game was to do a crystal rush. A good strategy against Tribe is to avoid rage entirely and just kill their crystals instead. And this map is good for that because the crystals have low HP, and I can set up my units behind my crystals here to keep them safe from tidal wave. Additionally, you can place a scout here and go straight to the gem tile for additional tempo to get out there quickly. So that's my game plan, and you can see how my board is set up for this with my units on the sides here, and you can see I've placed an engineer in the back here to block any tidal waves from shoving this this sandwiched soldier out of position and to the back. I've also got a spy up here, which allows me to place units back here without having to worry about getting tidal waved onto this square and in range of this witch. So the spy makes this square safe for me, as well as it also provides a lot of difficulties for him positioning wise, because he has to group up all his guys together. As I replay his last move, you can see that these two units all were open behind him, but I forced him to fill those gaps just by placing that spy up there. Moving on, let's take a look at his position. So he's got an axe thrower that's very far forward, as well as witches on the attack tile, which is very good positioning by him. I always recommend you place a witch on that attack tile on this map. That or a shaman if you are able to get yourself far enough forward, but definitely the witch's range synergizes really well with the tidal waves, so I always recommend doing that on a map where the attack tile is this far forward. He's got his chieftain in a pretty scary position, pretty far forward, and then he's got some units over here that aren't really far enough to impact the game yet. But there's really only two threats on this board for him that I need to worry about, and those are these guys: the axe thrower and the chieftain. Everything else, this witch is actually useless for him right now, because there's nothing that can get tidal waved in range. These units are safe behind the crystal down here. The spy cannot be targeted unless he's in melee range, and anything up here is just going to be too far away. This engineer can only get tidal waved up to this square, which was still out of range. With that in mind, let's move on to what I need to accomplish with my next move here. So I've got this the soldier down here. It's probably my biggest threat, and what I need to do in my turn is prevent him from getting a good chieftain bomb off. Now this will involve almost certainly putting a Girardi on the chieftain. I really want to upgrade this soldier, because an upgraded soldier kills a Jarate chieftain in 2 hits, but an unupgraded soldier kills a Jarate chieftain in 3 hits. Additionally, this puts a lot of pressure on him to defend against my soldier, because it's sandwiched, so it can easily get to this square and do 2 hits and then stomp him. And he really doesn't want to give up this chieftain. It's his primary offensive threat, and this soldier puts a lot of pressure on him. There's very few safe places that he can find on the board that my soldier will be unable to get to. I also need to do something about this attack tile. Now, this attack tile is actually a liability for me at the moment, because his chieftain can run forward and attack this heavy here, and the attack bonus is actually determined by the tile that your unit lands on, not the one that it starts on. So if this chieftain attacked this heavy from this square here, it would actually do 450 damage, not just 300. So that's a very dangerous situation. And anytime a chieftain gets on a attack tile, it's a very dangerous situation. But especially in this case, I need to plant a unit on there. So that's something else I'll be looking to do in my turn. And if I can do all those things successfully and develop my board a bit more, I think I will be in really great shape. My secondary objective with this turn is to continue keeping this axe thrower from getting a good trade. I don't want him to be able to get a soldier or a spy without spending a consumable item, because that would be a favorable trade for him, and I might have to give him rage, and that would be very dangerous with the chieftain lurking in a very advanced position. So that means that as far as units that are going to go on this attack tile, probably not the demo man, and probably not the soldier, because the axe thrower could just come here, hit that unit 3 times, and then stomp it. So with all that said, let's figure out what exactly we're going to do here. Now, we've started by upgrading the soldier and Jarating the chieftain. We've got 3 AP left. Let's figure out what to do with them. I want the heavy on this attack tile. That way, a save from the axe thrower, it'll take 4 AP to bring this heavy down from the axe thrower. So all he could do is KO him. And I want to move this soldier up so that it is more of a threat, and it can get in range of this axe thrower next turn, as well as it prevents this heavy from being tidal waved back, which could free up that attack tile for the chieftain. And then I want to get my other medic on the board. 2 medics on the board are always better than 1, as long as you can keep them safe by having a bunch of units in front of them. And this is a really good position for them, because you can see they're on my deploy tiles, which means they're really hard to stomp, and they cover every single one of my units. So he can't run in and do damage and then run away and expect to make any progress against this formation. Additionally, this sets up some nice synergies next turn, because this soldier is ripe for a medic link, which will do 450 damage, and I could pop up to this square and threaten this axe thrower and be able to KO it very efficiently. Another thing I could do is I could actually link up with this engineer and do 300 damage if the situation presents itself in a way where that makes sense. but it's more likely that I would link up with the soldier. I'm not sure how he's going to counter this play. My main goal is just to... Ideally, I want to force his units back. The longer this goes on, where I am putting more units on the board and developing my position, the better this will be for me. Because as soon as I'm able to establish a strong board position, I can flip the switch and go all out on the crystals, and it'll be very little that he can do to stop me. I really want to draw a scout. I don't have very much ability to stomp his units without sacrificing one of my own, and you really don't want to be trading 1-for-1 with tribe. What you really want to do is trade 1-for-2 with tribe, where tribe has to spend a unit as well as a power item such as a tidal wave or a meat in exchange for one of yours. With this in mind, I want to play very defensively. It's up to him to figure out an offensive attack that will penetrate the defense here that I've set up. And as long as I can keep forcing him back through having lots of threats on the board, I'm going to be in really great shape to take this game. And with that, I think I've said all I need to say. So let's lock in this move here, and hopefully I don't screw it up. Let's see what we get. Oh, great. We got a scout. Okay, that's fantastic. One of the reasons the scout is brilliant is if you kill a unit anywhere inside this area, inside the shaded area, and your deploy tile is open, you can actually stomp it completely for free with the scout, because you can deploy it for no AP, because that's a scout's ability, and then you can move it to the stomped to the unit that is KO'd. So there, or not, yeah, actually it has better range than I gave it credit for. I'm sorry, I drew that wrong. It's actually in this area, depending on if your deploy tiles are open. Any KO'd enemy unit in this area, you can stomp for free with a scout. So you can deploy for free, and then you can move it up, which will give you an extra AP for the stomp, which you can then use to move the scout back, or you can move a more valuable unit back to safety, usually the one that did the KOing in the first place. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that move. Let's see how he responds.